what's good? We're back. It's match day. We won against the champions. 2-1. We held it at the Emirates. We got our residents here. Kumo, I'm sure Clocky would join. He said we're going to start while the excitement is fresh here.
It's still fresh.
Oh,
And I was keeping my voice down.
Can't believe it, I suppose. We're pinching ourselves here. I think
I'm shocked, bro.
Call it ref, please.
Hey, I'm shocked, bro. I'm speechless. Like I couldn't even watch the last 10 minutes. I couldn't, bro. I was like, I can't. My heart was like giving out. I'd come in and out, and I came in at one point just to see fucking Willock just throw the 3-1 away. Hey, bro.
Hey,
I was like, okay, fine.
So
yeah, I'm just
beginning. So how were you with the lineup and the first half and stuff like that? Quite exciting half, 3 goals, Mane scores, and then then we equalize. But let's start with the lineup. How did you view the lineup?
Look, I was just happy to see Torreira. We know that we knew that they mentioned they want to rest people, so that was always in mind. So I wasn't bothered. It was good to see Torreira. I don't know. Clearly, apparently Mustafi is a key player, so he must be rested.
It was nice to see him play as the third centre back for the whole game, eh?
No, he didn't. Was Mustafi even on? Mustafi wasn't on.
No. Oh yeah, Mustafi. Yes. I mean, Tyrion.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
I'm saying the rest of Mustafi. Mustafi is a key player. He must be rested. But no, Tenny played well, bro. Tenny, I mean, come on, June Player of the Month. So the longest spell he's had. Yeah, he's putting in work. But look, we were defending, bro. Like from get-go, right? The possession was horrendous.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't mean anything, but like we never had the ball for nothing. It was just booted out.
The whole second half, we were like, bro, I can't even think of like an opportunity where we were like, damn. But in games like these, when you face opponents like these, this tactic is. I'm surprised they held it.
No, but it's painful, bro. As much as it worked, like it's painful because we couldn't even get out of the half. We couldn't pass out. We had to. They couldn't pass the ball to each other and get it out. It had to be hoofed, and we were hoofing the ball whole game. Like if a commentator was like, "Yeah, the guys can't get out of their half, bro. We are just stuck in our half."
At one point, we didn't move.
Yeah, we defend. We defend. We get the ball. We kick it out. They come back. We defend. Bro. And they passes. I think at one point I saw like maybe 3 passes, and they're already in our box, squaring the ball in. Like I don't know what it's gonna take for us to get there, but I'm sure now Arteta's gonna be happy with the defense. So.
But to be fair, that first goal that Mane scored, I was watching it, and like I don't know about the defending before, but you could see that's the Liverpool goal, like you square the ball and you run in onto it. But after that, it didn't look like it was as effective because it looked like these guys were able to deal with it. So I want to actually get your reaction on the equalizer by Lacazette. So how was that? How did you feel when because Lacazette, hey, bro, this guy's turning up, bro. I was hating on him, but now it's like 3 big goals in 3 matches,
Yeah, and he's up to 12 for the season. So for someone who's been having a horrendous season, no, man, dude. And if you look at our WhatsApp group, and I'm shitting on Pepe, right? And sorry to switch him up, but I'm shitting on Pepe because Laka is running his ass off, bro.
Yeah, Laka
is running at people, running into defending, going down, trying to get Laka is working his ass off. Laka was sweating. Laka was sweating. Pepe hardly broke a sweat. Like you can see, Laka left it on the pitch. Whatever, that term. Laka left it there, bro. And that hunger, that hunger of his, I've always said it. I mean, I don't see why Eddie is in front of him. Laka is hungry. Laka is a threat. Dude, Laka just, for me, the man. I'm glad maybe like last 2 games he can pick up a few more goals, maybe get settled, and like not be angry at the team. I think maybe he's like, yeah. So a happy Laka for me is good, and I'm glad what he did. I mean, that hustle, bruh. That hustle, and even shout out to Reese
Yeah,
for
I was
getting
gonna
that
ask
ball
you
the
about
big
this goal
man.
next.
No, but even getting the ball for the Laka of Van Dijk, and Van Dijk crying like he got fouled by like Reese is like this small. Like, he fouled me, ref, he fouled, bruh. Like, you keep your pocket.
Let me introduce these dudes here. Oh, John. I mean Sandile.
It's John, bro. It's John,
welcome. Nobile,
He wrote Dear John
welcome.
there.
Hey, guys, the most unexpected win. Damn. So let's start with Mr. Sandila. How are you feeling there? I got kind of Kumo's reaction, and then we'll go to Nobile.
Yeah. No, look, man. It was a good victory. Obviously, I mean, we'll take the 3 points. I expected us actually to win the North London derby, but the 3 points from one of those games was going to be important going to the rest of the for the rest of the league. So yeah, man. Like I'm really glad. I'm really happy with the win. It wasn't obviously the most beautiful football, but we showed some metal. You know, like we showed some balls in there. And yeah, we defended rather well. I thought Holding again came in, did all right in the back. I think he's cementing his place surely going forward. And yeah, the one thing that was frustrating was Pepe's performance, though, man. Like he was nowhere today. It was really nowhere. But yeah, look, I'm really happy with the victory, though.
Yeah, no, we all are. We're more shocked than anything else. It is real.
Yeah.
It is real. Just by the way, just a heads up. I think it was our third game of Gunacast when we did the first Liverpool, the second game, and I think it was just you and Kumo. And it was a banter FC wow because we had some Liverpool fans there. Now I wish we were brazen to be like, yeah, you see. And we did pull one. And at least we know if they were undefeated, we would have beat them tonight. But Nobile, let me not hold back there. How are you feeling after this?
How's it, gents? You know what, man? I'll take the win, but at the end of the day, I think this was pretty much like for me, it was like a preseason friendly. This match, if anything, the North London derby mattered more than this match. I think our season is done, pretty much. And to be quite honest, most of these guys are on holiday. Ellison is on the beach with his friend Van Dijk, and I think they kind of felt sorry for us and saved us from a lot of banter today by just literally gift wrapping 2 goals for us. We had no business winning this game. There's nothing that I
the
can
only
say.
2 shots.
There's nothing I could actually say besides probably the goalkeeper pulling off some key saves. And there's nothing I could actually say. You know what? Even though we dug deep and we had to fight hard, I can see where we're going. You know what I'm saying? There's nothing out of that performance that I can say. I can identify this player actually as having. No one had a good game in that game. We looked shaky at the back. We were just lucky, to be quite honest, that Liverpool just went up to their normal clinical best. They scored their first goal. They were ripping through us in the first half. They scored their goal and they kind of just switched off and called it a day pretty much. And it was just one of those that it's nice we won because obviously we saved a lot of banter, and we've also gonna obviously saved a lot in terms of our history against Liverpool. I mean, it's the first time we've beaten them since 2015. And I think that's about the only positive we'll take, is that we're not going to be hearing these commentators giving us stats of when we last won against the traditional top 4 or top 6 sides.
Or beating because
pretty much,
you know?
we only beat Man United, and that's about it, right? If it wasn't for Man United giving us a victory at home every now and then, I mean, we can't beat anyone. So at least that's the only positive. But from a playing style point of view,
are you sure we won?
Hey, man,
No,
but I'm saying the season is finished, guys.
No, it is.
You could have been playing in New York. You know, it's one of those end of season games that the Premier League puts on. So it's one of those. So, and yeah, for me, I think it was just scary how hard these guys are. They were just better than us all over the park. They're much better technically than us. They're much better athletically than us. in almost all departments. And save for them really having 2 brain fades. Yeah, it was like watching the bottom of the league side playing the champions. But yeah, anyway.
So,
Dave,
Tohi.
Well, one sec there, sorry.
But I'll take the win. I'll take the win.
Welcome. Sorry, Nobile. Loki, welcome. What's happening? How are you feeling there? Okay, when you settle, we'll get to you then.
No, I want to ask him if he's load shedded as well. Tohi, are you load shedded?
That's what messed me
Who,
up.
me?
Here, bro.
No, I'm not load
Yeah.
shedded. What do you mean, Machi?
Where you
No,
going?
we close by. We're not, our lights haven't come back.
Yeah.
No, I was load shedded, but you see, some of us, I decided to buy inverter, so I'm cool.
No,
No, we have one. That's what I'm
Because
No,
I
that's what I'm
want
using
to
now.
talk and smoke at the same time, and I can't do
Oh,
that in
okay.
the house.
No, okay,
Is it
I'm
too
asking
dark,
because no,
Yeah,
I agree we don't live
it's
too
a
far
bit
from each
dark.
other. So okay, I agree we don't live too far from each other. So
Yeah, there we
because
go.
I'm surprised, yeah, our light hasn't come back on. Little we got an inverter, that's how I could watch the match and I'm online. But the thing of this, it's 8 hours or something. More than from 4 to 10, 12 hours now.
Oh no! It doesn't make sense because mine left at around 4. They came back around 8:30.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think there's
I
something that went.
was sleeping.
Yeah, I think something went wrong in your area because a mate of mine also is in Broadacres and it came on and then went off again. So I think there might be something.
think
there.
Where in Broadacres are you cool? Because I'm in Broadacres and my lights are back.
Well, I'm on Cedar. I give you Cedar by Cedar Road, by Cedar Square.
Sorry,
yeah,
down the road.
Avon.
Not to talk.
Yeah, right there by
to break up this beautiful conversation of ESCOM and its service
I'm sorry,
providing
guys.
to us. ESCOM just got free advertising, yeah?
Wait,
Yeah,
Cloaky, how are you feeling there?
Let me tell you, wait,
You know what?
Sorry.
Wait, Choki, a shocking thing. It's been 13 years since load shedding started. Can you fathom that? 13 fucking years. Some kid went to grade 1 into matric and load shedding is still fucking going on. Aye, bruh.
No, you
load shedding is like
this.
Arsenal,
Arsenal's defense has been bad since 13 years ago, and maybe it takes like 14 years to get it
Guys,
right.
do you know, talking about that, do you know that there are kids that are now they're approaching the age of 20 and they don't understand why we support Arsenal? They're like, but this is a losing team. What are you doing with this team? You understand what I mean? I mean, you can imagine. My daughter just loves Arsenal because daddy loves Arsenal and she loves everything that daddy loves. But apart from that, I mean,
It's
even
hard
the
to
win
explain
today,
to these new millennials why we support them.
Dude, even with the last 3 minutes, like with 3 minutes to go, I kept saying to my wife, don't be surprised if it ends 3-2. That's what I kept saying to my wife.
I couldn't look at the TV. So, Cloaky, how are you feeling there? Are you surprised? How's your reaction there? And then we'll just unpack the match a bit with all the gents.
Look, at the beginning of the game, I remember thinking to myself, this is what it's going to be one of those. In Setswana, we have this saying, you know? So there's no, either way you can't win. Meaning, if you lose against Liverpool, guys are going to be all out saying, yeah, you lost to a Liverpool that was just at snail pace because they're already the champions. You beat Liverpool, yeah, you beat them because they're already the champions. You know what I mean? So it was one of those, it was a lose-lose anyway. I'm happy for the 3 points. That's what I'll say. For the first time ever, Arsenal has a W against Jurgen Klopp. I'm happy about that. Everything else, I'm not. I mean, I kept texting, guys, you know what? If Pepe doesn't want to play, he must fuck off.
Yeah.
He wasn't marking.
That.
He wasn't doing anything. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
I was so surprised that he stayed on the whole game, to be quite honest. I was very, very surprised that he finished.
Yeah.
He finished.
The only reason I see him spending the whole game on there was hopefully because he's not playing over the weekend. You know, maybe just
probably.
Yeah,
Saka,
get him rested, get Uber on the second half, maybe just get those guys rested up for the weekend. That's the only way.
So the one thing I wanted to ask,
bro.
Yeah, and I'm gonna ask the question about Lacazette. Is he marketing himself for a contract, or is he saying, I want to stick around? You know what I mean?
I want to stick around.
Lacazette's contribution today, I mean, a goal and an assist. And it shows that sometimes when you put players under pressure, they can make mistakes. I mean, both those goals, they're all about Lacazette putting players under pressure and forcing them to make errors. You know what I mean? And I appreciated that about him. And this composure. And you see how at one point he was playing so deep. He was trying to win the ball in the middle and distribute. That is that is a sign of a true leader. You know what I mean? I think next season, if you carry on like this, the old Lacazette will be back. If we keep Aubameyang, I think we stand a better chance. If someone can just take a boat or fucking swim to England, go smack Pep a couple of times, come back. Hopefully he'll wake up and the three of them can give us something. Because on paper, the three of them are some of the fiercest force, or is one of the best striking force in the Premier League. The reason they're not banging in goals week in, week out, for me, it's I don't know. Or is it because we don't have the midfield that will create chances for them and feed them? Because even again today, there was no midfield. Like I said, both the goals that we scored, it was all about Lacazette. Oh, and Kumo, your friend Willock, does it again.
I choked her. I didn't choke.
He did it again.
I don't know.
Bro,
He should
have side footed that, bro. That was an easy chance, guys. I'm sorry.
Bro. Yeah. Bro, that kid is yo. My friend.
Position. He reminds me of a young Ramsey.
I've tried defending that guy so many times, but every time I seem to like put my neck on the line for him, he does something like that.
Tap in, guys.
He disappoints.
Tap in. 3-1 finished.
Yeah, the one thing I wanted to ask was, a lot of you guys pointed it out before was where Tierney should play as the third centre back. Do you think that worked out for him today? Do you see that as a future role for him? Because, and Holding on the other side, I think we wanted to see a different pairing with Luiz, maybe Holding there, because we all feel Holding's a bit more solid than Mustafi, and then Tierney on the other side. Do you think that can look as a better feel for us with those two dudes on either side of Luiz?
Look, I don't know. Quickly, I don't know if it's obviously Liverpool, but because Saka was dead. I think have we mentioned about him and Tenny and Saka linking up? Because I don't remember seeing it before. But Tenny did well. He did really fucking well, right? It's just that Saka was just out of the game. I mean, I think everyone forward was out of the game. So Tenny did a fucking great job. June, like I said, June player of the month. He's put in work.
Yeah. So for me, Tenny had a great game defensively. Offensively, obviously there was, I think the whole squad had a poor game offensively. And I was more comfortable, and I saw the things that I had been talking about and a lot of us have been mentioning in terms of his positional awareness, how he can track runs, because he was able, whenever they tried slipping in, Mo Salah was tracking him back. Whenever they were playing those diagonal balls, he was tracking him and clearing the balls with the head or shielding it out over the goal line, basically for a goal kick. So I think he had a stellar match. Rob Holding on the other side was a bit shaky, especially when he was asked to drift to the wider areas. I think he was a bit uncomfortable whenever he had to come out from like almost when he had to leave the ball. Every time that he had to pull into those wide areas to try and track Mane, he was struggling and was really battling. So for him, I think his role is more like playing in the middle of a back three versus playing like on the right hand side, just purely because he doesn't have the legs for it. And I think because he knows he doesn't have the legs for it, he's sometimes not going for balls that he actually should be going for, just because he doesn't trust that he can actually get there, and he doesn't back his pace to be able to recover if he does get beaten on the first instance. So it's one of those tough ones where for him to play, for me, you have to kind of drop David Luiz, because for me, I think Rob Holding can only play in the center of those of the three.
Yeah,
but the question would be, would Holding be able to control and organize the defense the way Luiz does? Luiz makes mistakes, I admit, but he's able to, he's able to lead from the back, and he's able to play those balls that can easily slide behind defenders and give our pacey players a chance to score a goal. I don't see Holding delivering in that regard. So dropping Luiz for him would be a bit of a risk.
I wouldn't.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't drop him per se, but I'm saying that that's the only place that he can theoretically. In my opinion, I think they're not. None of those guys are the answer. We need better quality, more athletic players there. I mean, we could even take a Gomez, even a guy like a Gomez from Liverpool. So like, he's probably their first choice centre back. He's probably better than all of our centre backs. You know, I would say Joe Gomez, and he's much more athletic. He's quicker. I mean, he's quicker. He's stronger. He's good in the air. He's better with the ball at his feet. You know, and that's the kind of player, at the very least, we should be having as one of our centre backs. And none of our centre backs are anywhere near that guy's quality, and he's fourth choice at Liverpool, pretty much.
But there's the thing, is it not Tenny's athleticism or youngerness and pace that let him do that? Because if it was Mustafi there or like, bruh, it would have been chowed, bruh, every day. So that thing of these static old men, bruh, we gotta, okay, Salib, I don't know how fast he is, but at least he looks athletic, Salib. So maybe there's something there, because if Holding, like you say, Holding, you're right, I 100% agree with you. He should be in the middle. But it makes me also think about Chambers. There are no legs, but our CBs are sit in the box and hope for the. So hopefully, both Saliba will do something.
They're not.
And I think that's what also sometimes kills our midfield, because they always have to cover for the defense, and they're not able to go further upfield and deliver those passes or explore a bit further upfield because they're worried about people sitting behind them.
Sorry, you wanted to speak there.
Is a longer term thing, or because I just feel like it's just for the rest of this season. I honestly don't see us going back three much longer than this season. You know, right now, obviously our centre backs, we just need the extra man in there to kind of control the back line and, you know, getting somebody to actually assist David Luiz at the back. But I don't see us longer term sticking with a back three. I think it just, you know, triggers our ability to move forward as well.
Well, for me, the thing is that it will depend right on personnel. So I think we're forced to play with a back three because one, we don't have a number 10 in our squad. Two, we don't have an athletic defensive midfielder. So we can't go with a back four because you can't trust Xhaka to have the legs to cover and almost become that third centre back if need be defensively. Because even when we do play that, and he does try, he gets beaten for pace most of the time. He can't recover. Whereas obviously now with him playing with a back three, it gives him a bit more protection and actually allows him a bit more freedom to pick and choose when he can go and press, when to actually track back. And he knows that actually if he misses a tackle, it's fine. There should be someone behind who can cover for him. So I think that's why it's purely, I think, out of personnel. And if we can find the right personnel to address those issues, then maybe we can go to a back four. But if, like, let's say we go into next season with this exact same squad, we'll probably stick with this current formation, I think, just purely because we just don't have the right personnel to play the formation that I think Arteta would like to play.
So I'm gonna ask something weird here. I know we're all happy. Do you think this win kind of like is, I don't know what, maybe not as sweet because of the weekend's result? Let's just not say what match it was. You know, it still has scars. So you think, because like at the end of the day, we beat Liverpool, bro. Like this is the one match I wanted to win. Like
After 5 years.
I think I got too much family that's Liverpool fans, but you know, but it wasn't as sweet as obviously the weekend. But do you think, so my follow-up will be like, do you think that Arteta just solely, because it looked like he solely worked on defense, because everything was fine in terms of attack. Maybe we didn't finish, but it was mostly like, make sure. Look, today we had 2 shots on target, 2 goals, and it won us the game. So being more clinical is one aspect, but I think like you could see the last 10 minutes of Tottenham versus the last 10 minutes of Liverpool. We were able to see it out. Do you think that was a focal point, able to defensively? Because we knew Liverpool, as opposed to Tottenham, wouldn't attack us. Tottenham were attacking us, but it was on the break. Liverpool would just wave after. It was like a Barca game, bro. Like wave. Eventually, like, yo, just bring my board here. Let me catch a few waves. Because it just got to a point where we're not getting anywhere. We're not getting out of our box, let alone our half. But it's, I don't know. It was frustrating for a person that loves creative football and beautiful football. You know, it's hard to see. But is that one thing he's trying to drill into them? You know, defensively, stay stable. Let's keep our shape and let's run this thing for like till 120. Or you think today was just spend all day.
Sorry,
Look,
man.
I think Kish, I remember reading an article where they said Arteta wants to start with the defense, stabilize the defense, and move with the different areas of the team when we're out playing on the field. So my guess is stabilize the defense, then move to the midfield. And I think he's trying to do that. I won't say that today we were that superior defensively. I think Liverpool they were just not sharp. I mean, they've won the league. Well, trying to get to 100 points. Whether you do or not, it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, you haven't won the league in 30 years, and now you've won the league. You understand what I mean? So we were a bit lucky because they were shaky in terms of like the attack that they had. If we play against City and we try to do what we did today, I can guarantee you we are gonna get a proper hiding. So for me, like Kumo said, it was a fluke. We were just lucky.
It's a fluke, bruh. When Salah missed that Emmy save, like right in front of him, bruh. Those things are goals every day, bruh. Like
yeah, they were
unlucky. Those boys were unlucky today. They were like, they tried. We just lucky as
hit it on the head there, though. It's like we had no right to win because they had every opportunity
I thought we were gonna beat Tottenham and lose to Liverpool. I didn't think we were gonna beat Liverpool. And I remember at one point, I think I did text on the group that I think we're gonna get a maximum of 6 points from the remaining games. And at the time, between now and then, we have 7 points. So as far as I'm concerned, they are done themselves. For me, the league is done. And the remaining 6 points, I think they should be in the bag. I find no reason why we shouldn't win those. Unfortunately, they might put us in a position where we're back in Europe, though be it in the Europa Cup. You know what I mean? Like I said, I don't want us to do that. I want us to sit out Europe for all of next season, so that we can everything and that I want that other year.
Please, I'm also on that train, bro. Can we just sit down out of Europe? Just God. But we must take the win, but it was we were given. Thank you, Jesus. Fucking thing.
You know what, Kuma? I think you must go to church this Sunday.
We're gonna.
Yo.
Our prayers are working here, guys. Sanjila, sorry. We've been.
So I was just saying that none of these results really mattered for me since we lost to Brighton, honestly.
It's from a leading position, bro. From a leading position. Don't forget that.
It's like against Brighton. Come on.
And did you hear how they highlighted that? They were like, the last 3 games they lost were in the last 10 minutes. And they're like, City, Brighton, Tottenham. I was like, just keep quiet, man. Just like,
bro, if you're gonna watch an Arsenal game, just watch it on mute. Do not.
But they're telling the truth, though.
Yeah. I just don't want to hear it. Sorry, Sanjila, carry on there. You were saying after Brighton, you kind of gave up hope.
Look, I think actually even before then, for me the league was over, right? And it was just an early pre-season for Arteta to kind of get his style or his methods into the rest of the team, see what he's got to work with, and then see what he needs come the transfer window. But like the season for me was really, really over when we lost to Brighton. I thought after that game, we still had a chance. We were looking good. We were looking okay, And I think after we lost that game, it was okay. Then let's just see out the rest of the season, see where we finish, and then just go into the next season, into the transfer window, and see what we can actually get there. Because we really need strength, I think, in almost every position as well.
What's painful for me with the last 2 games before Liverpool, is that with Leicester, we should have wrapped it up in the first half. And even with Tottenham, we should have wrapped it up in the first half because we tend to dip in the second half. And that I think for me, be sharp, go out in the first half, do the business in the first half, tighten your defense in the second half and set it out. Because it looks like that's what we've become of late.
Yeah.
Shit, guys, I think my inverter's gonna run out. I'm out of power.
All right, we'll see you, man.
It's been on for fucking 12 hours. Sayonara.
I can hear it there.
Sayonara, Batman.
Yeah.
So we won.
Yeah. Yeah. So I reckon, and I agree. I think with a lot of the views on that. For me, I think these last few games, and I've been saying it, they are a preseason for me. And the only disappointment I think is that I don't think Arteta has tried as many combinations as he should have. I would have liked to have seen more of Ainsley, more of some of the other players that have been in the periphery, just to test them out and see are they good enough before dipping into the transfer market. So, like trying your Medleys, and giving your Reece Nelsons a bit more of a run, trying all these different combinations and different positioning. Because I mean, he's pretty much gone with the same back. I think they were saying that he's gone with pretty much the same defense since the Brighton game. He's been playing the same backline, and I would have liked to see a more variation, him trying out different combos to see exactly what works, what won't work, just in preparation for next season. And then I mean, I think right now all we can do is just hope to see hope to see something better next season, and hope for us to get better signings in next season. But you know with Arsenal, you can't really get your hopes up too much when it comes to the trust. We all know where our problems are, but we never seem to address them. But I think for us now it's just let's savor this victory. But I think if anything, it served as a reminder of just how far behind we are our so-called rivals.
But also, if you look at it, so I get sorry, did I carry on?
So do you think that perhaps Arteta is still looking at it from a point of we Arsenal need to be in
Europe? So I think he's been given the European mandate. That's the only way I can justify this. And I think his thinking is that as long as we have a mathematical chance, I will still go for it. No matter how long the odds are. Sorry?
The likes of Medley and Trey Coyle as well coming in. See what they can do and actually get Maitland-Niles a couple of minutes through the middle, see what he can
exactly, just to see if what's his distribution like, what's his legs like,
My guy, down the middle, after there's a game we played, I think it was the League Cup, where he played him down the middle. He was very disappointing. I don't know why the boy wants to play down the middle. I think it might have started off as a central midfielder, but over the years it has become very obvious that he's a better right back. He must just stick to right wing back and he'll be okay in that position. That midfield role, I've seen him try to play it a number of times. He cannot. He fails to do it. Like he performs very badly.
I just think he's only versatile for us. That's only.
I think we all know that besides him. So I think it's just
I think he still has memories of marking Paul Pogba out of that one game against Man United. So now he thinks, that's where he should be playing, like a few seasons back.
So the one thing I wanted to ask was, so if you look at it, we had Leicester, Tottenham, Liverpool, and then we have City. If you look at it on paper, Tottenham got Mourinho, Liverpool got Klopp, City got Pep. So essentially in 1 week, like Arteta's facing like 4 of the best managers in Premier League. Obviously they're not, but it's high-ranked managers. And especially in his career. So I think, like, this is my personal opinion, the test for him this week, either if we make Europe or we don't, I think it's an amazing run for him to go through, especially going into next season. Because, look, he tried to salvage whatever he could. It didn't work. Mathematically, with Arsenal, it's always mathematically. Have you noticed with most seasons, it's like, we'll make top 4. So I think now I would also like to see the combinations, but I think for him, he just wants to see what it takes to play against these managers. You know what I mean? And I think with Mourinho, kind of out-tacticked him, in a style, which kind of got to him because he knew what Mourinho's tactic was. Everyone does. Park the bus, feed the ball through. You know what I mean? So it was just like, so I think, he's still a rookie. We gotta admit that, but for me, he's stepping up and playing with the big boys, as much as Liverpool are off their game and stuff, he didn't take it lightly. He went into the game, So I just wanted to say, like, how do you think he's run, or how do you think these last few games are going to be for him in terms of as his managing career? Because, look, it's a good win and stuff like that, but I think he needed the confidence to be the top manager, because we know he's good, but I'll let you guys elaborate more on that, because, for me, it was quite impressive. Those 4 managers in like a space of just under 2 weeks, you know?
I think for me, there'll be a bit of a question on his tactics because he played against Pep and he obviously had his starting lineup, he had his tactics and they didn't work. The big question is, you're facing Pep again. What kind of new tactics are you going to come up with this time around? Are you going to try to stick to the same formula that you tried to apply when you lost against him? Or are you going to look at things? Are you going to approach the game slightly differently? I think that we should not try to sit back the way we did initially when we played them. I think we must try and attack them, but obviously keep the defense as compact as possible. Yeah, I think for me that's what I'll say. But you mentioned a valid point. He's a rookie. He still has to get his fingers a bit wet. And like I keep saying, one of the reasons I keep saying we are a work in progress is because we have a manager that is a rookie that really has not managed any other club before. So it shows that we are trying to build for the future. I think Arsenal will be great in 3 to 4 years, not next season, not the season thereafter.
Our patience has to
come. So that's my opinion.
Yeah. I think you've summed it up. I don't even have much to actually add on to that. I think he's done okay. Some of the tactics that he has employed have been questionable at times. Some of the subs perhaps have been questionable, but he's still learning. He's perhaps trying new things without taking too much of a risk, and trying to bring in the young. He's played a lot of the young kids as well, so I think that's been kind of a positive. And that's sort of the attitude that he has towards even the senior players. Like, if you're not performing, I'll play a kid for you. Not if you're out of form. I have no issues with pulling out one of our best strikers in Lacazette, putting him on the bench and starting in Ketia. And yeah, I think that bodes well for the future for him. As I think in a couple of seasons we will be competing again, hopefully.
No, say great again, not competing.
I said in a few seasons, in a couple of years, like down the line.
You can see he's so hesitant to say it. That's when it thinks it.
Yeah.
That's the life of an Arsenal fan, huh?
Yeah. So my assessment of Arteta is that I think I've been quite impressed with what he's done so far, being a rookie manager. I think the one thing he's done really well is fire up a lot of the senior players and get them actually look hungry and get them back to some form of form, and get them playing at their best. Which I think what Emery was really struggling to do was just trying to get the best out of those guys. They seemed a lot more fire. You look at Lacazette, he's fired up, he's chasing everything down, he's wanting to get involved, he's sticking his body, putting his body on the line. And you could say that for a lot of the senior players, your Granit Xhakas, your Aubameyangs, even though Aubameyang was scoring goals left, right, and center, but you are seeing a lot more endeavor from him. You're seeing Mustafi looking a better player, even though he's still poor. He's looking a lot better than what he was previously. So I think with that now, we just need to obviously sprinkle a bit of tactical, nous in there, and then just be able to hopefully. I'm just hoping that he can almost get the right players for him to be able to build on this project that he's trying to get going. And I think that's, for me, is just the worrying things that I don't know how much our board and our owners will be willing to back him in the transfer fund. And also, I don't know what Raul, Sanelli and them will be doing, whether they will be buying the right players or whether they'll be buying players because they're friends with the agents and stuff like that, So it's stuff like that I think obviously for me is a worry, but I just hope that in the end, sanity will prevail and we will get the right players to hopefully launch us into
So
the future.
I got like last 5 minutes here. So I just wanted to comment on the goals, man. Like, how were your guys' reactions to obviously Lacazette and then following up Nelson's goal? I don't think anyone was he was gonna.
I was like, I thought I was watching Arsenal in disguise there at the back. It's Liverpool.
And
they were complaining too.
Yeah, I think today Luis was wearing Luis was wearing a Van Dijk mask and playing for Liverpool. I think that's what happened. But today's goals were about hustle, man. That's all. It was just pure hustle, both from Lacazette and Nelson. And yeah, that's the heart. And I think Mobs just mentioned it as well, that he's fired up the guys. Lacazette is chasing everything, and yeah, that's what it was for me.
This is the return of
And
that kind of.
I like the fact that you're saying Lacazette is chasing everything, because for me it's a sign rather that if we have more creative play in the midfield and more supply up front, we will definitely get more goals. So we need to sort that department out. Yeah, I think that if like when you talk about the transfer market, sort out the defense, get at least one brilliant creative midfielder, and we'll be done. You know what I mean? Up front, we don't get another strike. Up front, we're okay. Just make sure that we sign Aubameyang and try as much as you possibly can to sell Ozil, and we'll be cool.
Yeah. And we got Martinelli just dashed there, waiting to come back,
Oh, yeah, him too. You know what I mean?
I think Pepe needs to be careful, because Martinelli can easily take his position. If he's going to perform the way that he performed today, where there was no pressing, he'd jog to a player, and even when he has a chance to actually nick a ball, I think there was a few times where he had a chance to actually
nick too much.
He was pulling out, yeah.
He didn't. Yeah, he pulled out. He's like, what the hell is going on? He should have pulled out 9 months ago.
He should have planned this. Yeah. He did plan it well. He thought it was going to be off season. He's like, yeah, don't worry. When the baby comes, we'll be chilling. Then Corona came, and he's like, hey.
Jumps it out.
No, how did you feel about the goal?
I'm hoping that Arteta will be able to say something to him, motivate him a bit, get him to play at his best. Because sometimes even he doesn't even run at players. Sometimes I question whether he was told not to do it, or he just chooses not to, because we know he has pace. I mean, even I think it was the Tottenham game where he got a ball. We were on a break, and he was alone, and I thought he would take on 2 players and just continue the run and make the pass. He stopped halfway and passed the ball back. I'm like, what are you doing, dude? Yeah. So, for me, I'm still asking myself whether those are instructions from the coach. But I don't think a coach would give such instructions out. You know what I mean?
I don't think he's got. I think that's one aspect of the game Pepe needs to work on. It's just his intelligence, and maybe I think that's something that maybe he hasn't been coached, because I think his ability has been able to get him through all of that. It's almost, like that guy who's just so much better than everyone else. He doesn't know the fundamentals well. He knows that if I get the ball, he's almost those guys that he wants to get the ball at the halfway line, 10, and then beat 5 guys and score a screamer. You know what I'm saying? And he doesn't know, okay, actually, today's game, I should be pulling the defenders, running into those spaces, running deep. So like today was one of those games where we should have been looking to lob the ball, and he's running in behind the defenders. And then even if he doesn't win the ball, but we've got a second wave of players winning the second ball. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And then playing off of that, because we are never going to be able to play through Liverpool's defense. And it's the same thing with City. We'll never outplay City. We just don't have the ability to do it, and we don't have the athleticism to do that. So it's one of those as well where we have to match them with endeavor and beat them through just sheer grit and determination of chasing them down, chasing lost causes, and winning the second balls, and then building from that. And then, okay, you said I must also give my view on the goals. The goals are the one thing at least our strikers are doing is that they're doing what's required out of them. They're pressing. Look, I mean, recently they haven't been taking they haven't been as clinical as you would like them to be. But I think they've been really, if you look at it, they've kind of been feeding off scraps, and it's not the usual service that you usually see from Arsenal. Because with us, it's always like you get plenty of chances. We used to be those teams that would have 20 shots at goal, kind of like. But now, obviously, the service is dried up. We barely managed to get into double digits when it comes to attempts on target. I mean, attempts at goal these days. But it was great to see that the guys. It looks like it's paying off, because in the past, whenever we pressed, we always looked like we didn't know what we were doing. I think if it wasn't for Pepe and him struggling to maybe get his part of the game right, I think we would be. Sorry, man, I was rambling on there.
No, I want to say live, but your point was too good. I was like, no, let it cut. I'll just get everybody back in. I must remember where you were pointing, because you made a good point that I wanted to feed off for the next question. So I was like,
what about Pepe or about impressing?
The way we played, in terms of like a City, you're saying like we can't just go, we won't outplay City, we need a gritty performance.
We won't.
So I was like, maybe
Nah.
this, well, I don't know if these guys are joining, but I was going to be like, maybe this performance was the setup to kind of show us how we need to kind of perform. Because you defend for 45 minutes, there's no one better to defend.
And that's City defense you can get at them. If you bypass that midfield, you can get at those defenders. They're shaky, those guys at the back. They've got a great keeper. They've got a great keeper, but once you start playing long balls in behind them, putting pressure on them, they'll struggle. They're not comfortable with that type of football.
Yeah, so
but we need guys like Pepper to press, to challenge for every ball. You know what I'm saying? For that to work, and not giving guys free passes. Because I thought that today, like there's a lot of times when we were giving Gomez and Van Dijk a free pass where we weren't even just trying to challenge, challenge them or just force a mistake over them. Especially since we had seen them make so many mistakes, or 2 mistakes for the 2 goals we'd make. I thought we would feed off that energy and carry on harassing them. And because I mean, even in the second half, there were instances where when we did start pressing, and you saw them shakily get out of those situations. And there was an instance I think where I saw Pepe, if he had gone in and actually believed that he was going to get there, he probably would not nick the ball ahead of Alisson for that one chance. And he realized it quite late. It was like, oh, damn. Actually, you could see him disappointed that he actually didn't believe that there was a chance there. And then when it actually fell, he wasn't in the correct position to take advantage of it. And then he was actually disappointed once he had saw that it's actually passed me by. And he ended up turning around and chasing back.
I think you made a good point about Pepe, about his thinking. It's not theirs yet. He's not in that football mind where, like, as you said, especially in the France league, they really just push you on.
So for me, so for me, that has been one of my biggest disappointments with him. It's just that he just doesn't seem to have the football brain. His intelligence is not there, and I'm just hoping that it's something that can still, because he's old. You know, what is he, like 25? I think he is now. He's around it's 24, 25. So I mean, this is not like we're talking to Bakanyo Saka or we're not talking to guys that are like in the early 20s or in their teens. This is a senior. This is an old player, well, by footballing terms, let me say, or middle-aged player, let me say, by footballing terms, who was bought in for a lot of money. So I'd expect him to be able to know when to come short, when to be, going long, especially with his pace. I would want him to utilize it more rather than actually, he seems to just want to always utilize his skills to get him out of situations instead of actually using other attributes of his game, which he's got, but he doesn't seem to know how to use.
Yeah, the thing is, I think it's also the league, where he was in France. I feel that what they told him to do there is like chalk and cheese as opposed to English, where they were like, just go out, go out and go play your ball.
It's a farmers league. You're playing pastry chefs and farmers.
Yeah. And the thing is, you can school dudes there. They like that kind of stuff. In England, you school dudes too much, they break your leg, bro. You can't come with too much of flair because you're going to get hurt. They are a very proud nation, the English guys. So they don't want like guys from outside the league to come here and now just start dribbling them. They're going to hurt you.
No, they don't. You play
a West Ham or you play like an older generation team that has that kind of thinking. These guys will go hard against you. And I think he saw that, like the Bournemouth games, the Norwich games where they kind of like singled him out and just hurt him. And I think like that put him off. It realized I can't take on everybody. But as you said, it's that footballing mind that's supposed to kick in. I'll be like, yes, you can't take it, but move more, give and go. 1, 2. You know what I mean? And let's hope he gets there. For 80 million, he better get there. He only paid back 25, 30, I feel. No, the Brighton goal, because we lost, it lost value.
It doesn't count for anything, that Brighton goal.
I don't know where the other guys are, but we can just carry on.
I don't know, bro. It's late as well, so they probably...
Yeah. Hey, sorry, man. I'm keeping everyone up, but last comment, last question. So you were saying like the performance that we need for City. So how are your thoughts going into the City match, considering North London derby and considering Liverpool? Because to be fair, we kind of wrote off today's game. We didn't think we had a chance because we're like, we lost to Tottenham, who's shit. They super shit.
Yeah.
You know, and
yeah, they are. That's why I was just very disappointed that time. So I mean, I think today was a good preparation for what we will face against City. I just said obviously City will be much sharper than what Liverpool are, and if we play the way we play today, we'll get murdered in terms of trying to play out from the back, even though we can see that it's not working. Playing those short passes, those tippy-tappy passes, the back, we'll get absolutely murdered. So I think what we need to try and do is that for that game, we need to look longer, quicker. So it's fine that, okay, the goalkeeper, let's say when a goal kick plays it to David Luiz. But I think from there, once it gets to David, the first thing you should be looking for is for Aubameyang, straight off the bat, looking for him long, looking for whoever it is that's going to be on the wing, if it's going to be Reece Nelson or Bukayo Saka or Pepe, looking for him long. We know that Lacazette will probably be dropping deep. So we'll have, look for them long, and then Lacazette maybe dropping deep to try and collect any other of the balls, maybe that get knocked back, that get one in the air. He's there for that second ball, So I think that's the only way. And then from there, then bypass their midfield and play that way. And you saw that today. Lacazette was dropping a very deep, playing almost as a midfielder today. He was playing a false nine, and he was basically like our number 10 or number 8 actually today. He was basically our number 8 today, doing almost like a box to box role.
Yeah,
can you believe it?
Getting deep.
And then it was only like when they had goal kicks, whatever it was, that's when he was then advancing forward as it's part of that 3 to go and press the guys. So he was only doing that he was only pressing once when they were quite deep in their half, but once they actually advanced, he was dropping deeper to come help out our midfield. So I think that's probably that's what I expect to probably see going into the Man City game. You just need to execute it better, because if you think you're gonna go toe to toe with Man City, we're gonna get smacked up proper. So I think and for me that's the only way realistically we can win the game. And I know it's very iffy. It's not going to be beautiful on the eye, but I think it's probably the only realistic way we can go about it. Look long, be very direct, and then look to win the second balls and then play off of that. But even today,
like a City and them, they overwhelm you. You gotta be able to absorb them and then play your game out, counter out. That's why sometimes people doubt Mourinho, but that tactic works when you're playing a really attacking opponent. Where you just try it. I don't like the park the bus tactic. I don't like that play at all. It's very boring. But at the end of the day, sometimes you it's like a David and Goliath match. You know what I mean? Any other day, these guys are gonna smash you. You gotta play it in a different sense. And I think you hit that spot on, because we gotta make sure, we have to be 100% sure that no errors happen. So my one question was, so I actually have two before we end. So you guys are disappointed with Pepe, as everyone's saying. Who's our right winger for City? Who will you play?
Oh, it's a tough one, eh? I actually don't know, to be quite honest, because I think that's one area where we'd be lacking. There's no. I'd probably at the moment go with Bukayo Saka, just purely because I think of what we've seen out of everyone there. I think he's the most, even though he's not really comfortable in that position, it's not his natural position. I think out of all our options we've got at the moment, he's probably the best out of them, and he's got the end product, and he can get on. He's a better finisher. He seems to be also switched on in terms of mentally, and he makes good decisions usually when it comes to the final third. So I'll probably go with him as our right winger ahead of Pepe and Nelson and Willock.
And on the right back, how did you feel about Cedric today? I didn't really watch him for too long.
Cedric struggled. I think he struggled quite a bit with his understanding with Pepe, and I think it's quite difficult playing with Pepe from a defensive point of view, because he seems to Yeah, and I think he's also quite, as I say, tactically, I think he, as we've said, he's lackluster. So there's a lot of times where he'll go and mark a guy, but actually Cedric has already earmarked that person, that it's his person. You know what I'm saying? Or you'll pass a man on, but then by passing that man on, he's creating an overload, and it's a 2-on-1 now on the right back. So Cedric was getting caught out quite a lot in terms of he didn't know now whether to go now and press Pepe's man or stick with his man. And when he did go press, Rob Holding was uncomfortable coming across to come and cover that pocket that he was leaving behind him. So it's one of those where I think Cedric, he had quite a not so great game. We were just lucky that Robertson didn't and Mane didn't exploit them as they should have. I think he was quite poor, but I can mitigate it by saying that also he doesn't really have a lot of support in front of him. He was kind of in no man's land in terms of he didn't know where to
and they were attacking that right, to be fair.
And they were attacking that, and he was getting no support. So we didn't seem to know, or maybe we did, but Pepe maybe wasn't doing his job. But it didn't seem like we knew who should be picking up Robertson between him and Pepe. You know, who should be picking up Mane? Should Mane be getting picked up by Rob Holding, or should it have been Cedric? You know, so it seemed like we didn't know. There was that confusion between those three guys about who should be picking up Robertson.
Those two guys will run riots with you. You know, if you have that kind
of which is what they were doing, especially in the opening exchanges of the game. They were running rampant on that side of that pitch. Yeah. So they look dangerous.
Before we end, man, it is late, and you know, I think the excitement's still. Well, for me, it's still there because I'm gonna phone my cousin now and be like, "We won." So the thing is, like, I believe this, and maybe you can correct me if I'm wrong. We'll be just a bit off the topic, but going into Saturday's match, FA Cup semi-final, City at Wembley, neutral ground. So you know, it's a big one for us. This is probably the only trophy we're probably gonna get, and at least it's a fighting chance. It's like the season's over, but we have something to play for. So I felt that the first game when we came back, we were robbed against City. And I felt Arteta felt like he prepared these guys for this game. You know, he went in there like, you know, it's like that whole like in a movie where you come out the first time and you come so prepared, but everything goes wrong.
You're looking strong, and then all of a sudden Mara gets injured, and Luis comes on, you know, and has an absolute howler.
The whole game just goes to we don't want to just go. It just capitulates, bro, and we end up losing. So maybe it was unfair on Arteta or on the team itself. Do you think now he knows, like, okay, this is his second chance in terms of, because he wants to face Pep. The one thing I know about Arteta, he likes to face his big managers. It's not that he doesn't shy away from it or like give them too much of credit. He respects them, but he wants to also prove himself. And I think that Pep game was kind of where he wanted to say, hey, look, I can play with you guys here. And I think he felt maybe he was unlucky or robbed or whatever. So is this not his redemption? Is this his time to actually show that, hey, boys, like now he must study it a bit better. We know we're prone for red cards. We know, like he's improved everything. We haven't got a red card except for Nketiah. No, the last defensive mistake, to be fair, was Kola. You know what I mean? And like he's improving it. We saw out the last 10 minutes quite easily. So my thing is that is all of this prep, like either way, maybe he didn't play the combinations like you suggested, or maybe he kept things rigid because his whole mentality was, I want to go and beat Pep. You know what I mean? I know it's a bit conspiracy thinking here, but I just feel like Arteta is Spanish. They're very proud. You know what I mean? Especially in their football and the approach of it. So when he knows he's like outdone by harshly, because he can't say like, look, City were just better than us. He even said, he came on and said Tottenham outplayed us in terms of we didn't take our chances, and then they did a different tactic and it won. So my question is like, is this now his redemption kind of to show the like he's the young grasshopper is you know he's ready to face.
Well, I hope so, and I hope his team is mentally prepared for the fight, and they'll dig deep and want to actually fight and die on that field for the manager.
Mm.
I think what he must do for himself to aid himself is that he must pick the right personnel for those positions. So if he's going to go with Bukayo Saka in the right wing, which I think he will go for, then he must make sure that then he swaps around Tierney and Kolasinac. Have Kolasinac, like today, when he came on that left wing back, have Tierney at centre back, because Tierney will track men. He's better defensively. It'll give him a better chance against Raheem Sterling, or say or Riyad Mahrez on that right side or our left side. He must also then make sure that he decide whether to go with Ainsley at right back or to stick with Bellerin. I would prefer Ainsley because I think it's just better athletically, and because he'll be doing a lot of defending in that match. Ainsley for me seems a bit more switched on when it comes to, well, not switched on, but he's more athletic, so he can recover easier from when he's out of position or when he gets caught out. He was able to come. Even in today's game, there was a chance where he recovered quite decently against Sadio Mane when he looked like he was beaten, and he was actually able to force Mane or shoulder him off the ball, and Mane miskicked it, or wasn't able to get the contact he wanted to steer it into goal. So it's so I think it's key. It's those for me. I think those are probably the rest of the squad kind of picks itself. It's for me. It's those three key areas which might make or break the result, or the match, or the result. Is that right wing back? Sorry, the right wing back, the left wing back, and the right wing. And
Do you want
choice
Tierney
there
in that third centre back role?
Yeah, I've been calling for Tierney.
Yeah, you have.
To play that third centre back since he played that Man City. Since the Man City match, I've been saying that if we go with the back three, that's the guy we should go with. I was even saying that because I remember at the time we had no defenders. It seemed like everyone was dropping out with injuries. I was like, look, if anything, I'd play Tierney. If we have no defenders, I'd play Tierney. And even though he's short, but I'd play him at centre back and then have Kolasinac as his left wing back, as his left back, and just give that a shot. But that was obviously when I thought that's when I thought we were going to have an injury crisis, right? Because it was either going to be him or at the time it looked like it was going to be between him and Xhaka. Actually, I'm talking nonsense because Xhaka also was injured at the time. Yeah. So it was literally like because Rob Holding, we weren't too sure how he was how he was looking post injury and him coming back.
Because the one thing was, the reason I've noticed he hasn't, I say start Niles on the right because, look, that's what I asked you about Cedric, because if Cedric's playing well, because Bellerin, I don't know what's happening, bro. Like,
yeah, but Bellerin is he's looked better ever since Cedric started playing. So he's also one of those where he hasn't been as bad as he has been recently.
I don't know if that vegan diet messing with him.
But I still think, especially in a game like Man City, where you won't have a lot of possession, when you do have possession, you have to have players that know what they to do with the ball. And I'm more comfortable with Ainsley on the ball than I am with Bellerin. And I would go with Ainsley purely also off of that, is that even when we do win the ball, I trust Ainsley will be able to travel with the ball. He'll know he's comfortable to pass it into midfield, whereas sometimes Bellerin is afraid to. He'll just turn back and pass it back to his keeper or pass it back to one of the centre backs, So, and I'm more comfortable with Ainsley that he'll be willing to take risks and make more of those adventurous passes into midfield and into the front three.
So what I was thinking was, Ainsley might not start. The only reason is because let's say you play Kola and Tierney, either third centre back or left wing back. If you play Cedric and Bellerin or whatever, you have those combinations. Remember, we don't have another person here on the left. Okay, I suppose Saka, But I mean, in terms of
you've got Saka.
In terms of a reserve on the bench. So if Saka plays, you probably don't have a left wing back replacement. And I think, I don't know, it's weird to say, I think Niles becomes this versatile player. He's like an older version of Saka now. Because they put him on the left. You remember the Wolves game? They put him on the left. They put him on the right. They put him as a holding midfielder. So it looks like Arteta is hesitant to start him because he likes, maybe just in case anything goes wrong in the game, he has this versatile player that,
Mm.
let's say, if Tierney gets injured, okay, we'll slot Kola in third centre back. We'll put this on the wing, as a wing. I don't know, because I'm calling for him to start. Most of the games I say he must start, like in terms of a right wing back, because as we see, he's a baller. He links up with anyone on the right. There's no one I can say
Yeah.
he doesn't link up with. It's just that I don't know, like, what's Arteta's plan. Sometimes it's kind of hard to figure.
Yeah, I also don't know. What's going on with Ainsley, to be quite honest.
And then you
for
hear
me,
the stuff
that's
on the news, and
yeah, it's quite baffling to me that he's getting as little game time as he has been getting. I think he should be playing a lot more, especially on that right hand side. He should
yeah,
be playing a lot more there on that
he's a
side. We should have
baller.
seen
To
a
be
lot
fair,
more of
he's a
him.
baller.
Yeah.
Like we saw it last year with Emery. His position is right
Yeah.
wing back. You saw his delivery. He just
Yeah.
is not as defensive, but you can see he's
Yeah.
a bit better. But yeah, so last question: do you think we can win on Saturday?
I mean, obviously we can always hope, but I mean we're going with heavy underdogs. But you never
Yeah.
know, bro. It's football. We could always. I mean, Otamendi could make a mistake. They get a red card, and we get a penalty, and that's it. So it's always. And the thing is that Man City always have a mistake in them. Especially not them, but I'm talking about their defenders. The defenders always have their centre backs always have a mistake in them. So then they'll always give us a chance. But like on paper, I mean, Man City should cakewalk that match. But look, I don't know what effect this victory will have
Yeah.
against Liverpool. Whether it'll G the boys up and they'll go and really fire it up for that match, or if it'll it'll be ineffectual. Well, the only time will tell.
And
But yeah,
sorry, man.
but
There's a lot-
realistically, I don't give us a chance. But I just hope. I'm just hoping. Otherwise, I mean, if we don't
Do you
hope,
think
then
if
we
we
might as well
won
just stay at home.
Tottenham and we won this, you would have been like, yeah,
Yeah, I would have been a lot. Yeah,
you're
I would have
like,
been a lot more. Yeah, I would have been a lot more comfortable going to that. But I just think that there's just certain things that we haven't gotten right yet.
yeah.
Which I think we won't get right also against City, and that'll be to our downfall. There's a
It's
lot
too-
of things that I saw
too short
a lot
time.
of things that I saw today, which we got wrong, which Man City will capitalize on.
Yeah. No,
And
there was
Liverpool
like,
today didn't capitalize on purely just because they
there were
won
like
the league
5
already. They're done.
chances, clear-cut chances they should have put
Yeah.
away. They should have. Like,
Yeah, I mean,
was just like,
the one where Mo Salah sat David Luiz down there in the 6-yard box.
yeah.
That's a goal all season long. If that match was played in January, I'm telling you now, the Mo Salah's burying that.
Maybe we caught a off the ball kind of Liverpool, you know what I mean? Like they're not balling
And it's
like
understandable. I mean, they're done, bro. They finished. The guys are thinking about their holidays and
So the
preparing for
one thing
next.
is, I think the worst thing was that a Tottenham defeat is not just like a defeat. It's not like a Brighton or a City. It's more pride hurt with the defeat. So I think this was more like a bringing pride back to our team because look, they are the champions at the end of the day. It's like City hammering them 5. City went there to show them, hey, you might be champions, but we're coming here too. To show you a statement. And I think Arsenal needed to put that statement like, look, yes, we can play with the big boys. Look, the thing is, it's hard to be like, look, we can beat anyone now because we did play a kind of not 100 Liverpool. But at the end of the day, these boys must be proud of what they did, to be fair. Because to defend for 45 minutes, it's not easy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I was just watching defense, like, wave up to wave. So, and that looked like how the Liverpool versus Barca game was. Remember back when Barca were just attacking them.
Yeah.
And sometimes it brings out stuff that we don't see, that we don't talk about. Even the one guy's like, would you have ever seen that this was a good defensive display by Arsenal? We don't mention these kind of stuff in our chats. And I suppose now we can, like to hold Liverpool up. Or I just suppose we just have to go to City and just play off this kind of confidence that we're going to get out of this match, City's never going to be easy, of course, it's just one of those games, Hey, I don't know. I'm just hoping. So, sorry, before we end, it's just one last thing. I haven't asked you, I asked everyone else, but you didn't join the convo there yet. Was Lacquer, man. Hey, bruh. How's that dude? Like 3 goals, 3 games, 3 big goals. You know what I mean? Do we have our Lacazette like back? You know, do you think he's come back to the form that he's been off lately?
Yeah, he's looking strong, and he looks like he's found his confidence again, especially in front of goal. As we were saying, that he was doing a lot of the hard work and a lot of the dirty work and the link up play and everything. And it's just nice now to see that the goals. And I remember we'd been saying that, look, the goals, we're seeing good signs from him, and the goals will come at the end of the day. And he was one of those players where initially I was saying that, look, we can afford to sell. But now looking at him and looking at how hungry he is, he looks like he actually wants to stay and play for the badge. And it's a good thing, I think, that we can have him there, maybe to groom some of these youngsters, groom Eddie Nketiah and groom Martinelli going forward, you know. But obviously, if I still think though, if big money comes in for him in the summer, they will probably let him go. But now, actually, looking at it now, like I'm fine even if he does stay. You know,
Yeah.
I'm almost like I'll be, you know, I'll be happy if he stays. If we do sell him though, I'll be happy if we get a good price and we can maybe build off of that. And he's kind of like the sacrificial lamb to help us build. But yeah, I've been very impressed with his performances.
Yeah, I hope he's back, man. We need a big performance from him on City. I hope he plays. I think Nketiah will be back.
He will play. Nketiah suspended.
Still, oh shit.
Yeah.
So 3 games across.
So that's why they took him off today. I reckon.
Okay.
Because just purely because he's played, it's just to.
Yeah, he plays a high intense game as well for himself.
Yeah.
The way he moves
exactly.
around.
So yeah.
Especially being that 9 to 8 to 10 kind of role, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's playing that pocket holding, you
Exactly,
know, maybe the thing is the overlaps aren't working with him dropping deep. You know, I think with Aubameyang there and maybe Saka there, it'll work a bit better.
We ought to work better.
Because I feel the right is his best place to play. He doesn't, because I don't know, he's naturally he just turns to the right. Whereas the left
to the right,
you know?
Yeah, for him to do, yeah.
So if Pepe is not getting onto the ball or getting into areas there, that whole chance
into areas, then he's exactly.
Then he has to pass back to Xhaka. You know what I mean? Because in the Tottenham game, there were chances where he'd run up and he'll just hit it and it would like go down to the wing, you know, like in the air. You know, it's like a first time hit, like a chip.
Yeah.
He likes
and then
that.
Pepe is not there,
Yeah. So just, I don't know. But Nobile, it's always a pleasure. It's late. We're victors over the champions, you know. It's been a good one. At least we got the 3 points.
Saved us from all the banter, man. Saved.
Yeah, it's fine. They can say what they want. They lost 3 points. One of those losses are to Arsenal. So it's fine. They actually lost. They lost 4, that means. No, they lost 3.
They lost 3.
Lost to United, but they didn't. Yeah. No. I think Watford, City, and us.
Yeah.
It's all right, bro. We kept the Invincibles alive, so it's fine. But have a good night. Always great chatting. Catch you on Saturday. Good Cheers, with Nobile and the residents. They didn't finish off with us, but it's chill. We won Liverpool 2-1. We are.